Hello there, brothers and sisters. Welcome to the Ever Perfecting Life, a YouTube series where I try to teach you how to perfect your life, and I'm also learning along the way as well. Isn't it beautiful? Now, the idea I wish to share with you today is the idea of a stimulation detox. This idea is extremely powerful and just so poetically beautiful as well. So I hope you enjoy. Now, when I say stimulation detox, what stimulation am I referring to exactly? In our society, in our current civilization, there are many different products and services that we can purchase which serve to stimulate our senses. We can purchase certain TV shows or movies which stimulate our eyes and our ears. We can purchase certain substances which stimulate neurotransmitters. We can purchase certain foods which taste extremely good. There are all these different products and services which serve to stimulate our senses and give us pleasure. But what I'm suggesting here is that we push aside all that stimulation that we do not need. Just for a little bit, we just take a break from all that stimulation and we have a stimulation detox. Now, as we do this, as we put aside the things that we don't really need, we put aside the movies and TV shows that we don't really need, put aside the substances that we don't really need, and put aside the food that we don't really need, what are we left with? Well, I guess we're just left with clean food, clean water, and sunlight. Now, here we are in our stimulation-free zone. All we have is the food to keep us going, the water to keep us going, and the raw essentials of our mind and our body. Now that we have nothing external to make us feel good, what on earth are we going to do? We don't have that TV show we used to like to make us feel good. We don't have that cigarette or that drink to make us feel good. We don't have that nice donut to make us feel good. What on earth are we going to do? I suppose now we must ask ourselves the question, what can I do to make myself feel good? What can I do to fill up my days? And this is when you start to get reacquainted with what you truly value. Because if there are no longer any of these, stimulation and pleasurable products to distract us, we're now going to fill out our days taking action to realize these values. So perhaps you'll now think to yourself, well, now that there's no stimulation, now that I'm not allowed to distract myself with that stimulation, I would really value getting good at this craft, or I would value getting good at this career or this career and producing this sort of work. Perhaps I would value forming these sorts of relationships with these sorts of people, or perhaps I would value approaching life in this sort of way or this sort of way. And over the coming months, when you do not have these stimulatory products, you will constantly be taking action to realize these values. Now, it might be slightly difficult at first because perhaps we somewhat relied on the stimulation to meet certain needs, Perhaps once we put away the stimulation, we realize, you know what? I don't feel that good. My mind and body doesn't feel that good without the stimulation. My mind and body is not in the same place that I left it. But that's okay, because even if it is difficult on your mind and body at first, the mind and body is designed to heal itself and to rejuvenate itself. So as we go about our days, constantly taking action in the things that we value, we start to build up our mind and build up our body. There is no longer an external crutch of stimulation keeping us up and keeping us in a certain homeostasis, but rather we are using our own energy and only our own energy to create the life that we want. And as we rely on nothing more but our own mind and our own body to create our sense of happiness and our sense of well-being, we gain so much more structural integrity as a person. You do not need anything else because you can stand on your own 2 feet. And to have this sort of structural integrity, to have this sort of self-reliance, self-efficiency, and personal power is so much more pleasurable than any quick fix stimulation could ever be. Now, when I say this, it's not to say there will never be stimulation again, okay? Perhaps after, months and months of complete stimulation abstinence, after months and months of doing those actions and those habits on your own accord, which are aligned with what you value, you will build a strong foundation and a strong pillar for your life. And after those few months, perhaps you may have the opportunity to have a bit of stimulation. And I would not reprimand you for, doing the occasional stimulation, for having the chance to, be stimulated and go into an elevated state where suddenly informational pathways open up that weren't there before, energetic pathways open up that weren't there before. But as long as while you're in that stimulated state, you take out your notepad and you put down the lessons that you learn. You write down, oh, I accessed this information that I can use in the future. I realized I can use my energy in these ways, and I'll do that in the future. Then you put it in the back pocket, return to earth, and then for the next many months, you continue laying that strong pillar and that strong foundation of your own skills, your own approaches, your own outlooks, completely uncorrupted by stimulation, okay? So, just to recap, I highly recommend that we try going on this stimulation-free diet, that we put aside all of the influences that we do not need. And from there, we regain our clarity, we regain our strength and our cohesiveness, and we constantly move towards what we want to achieve. Yes, I highly recommend this practice. I have had tremendous benefits from it, man, like tremendous. And I understand it's a pretty intense request. It might be quite difficult for, some people. It has been for me at times, no doubt. It is an intense request, but the benefits are huge. Okay, the benefits are huge. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. Whether or not you decide to join me in the stimulation detox, I'm sure there'll be future videos for you that help you in your specific journey. Thank you for listening and much love.